All right, so haven't really messed with these very much, but this is Snakehead. They're just coming up into Pennsylvania. A lot of places they reproduce like crazy. They're just crazy predators. I mean, the population density from some of the electrofishing in areas like Florida and places I've seen is pretty nuts. I think they estimate there's like 50 per 100 feet of canal they have down there. It's just nuts. But anyway, they're supposedly a really good eating fish here. I'll give you a little view. They're really cool design fish. And the first thing I found out is supposedly everybody says they're really good eating, but I couldn't find any great videos to show cutting them up. So here, let's take a look at the business end. Got a lot of nasty teeth in there, but anything that's good eating's got my attention. Pretty easy to catch. Somebody I know gave these to me. Caught a couple of them this morning. So the big thing with them is anything new. It's like, where are the bones at? I can't find any information. Again, guys are using an electric fillet knife, but here's what I sent them out with the other one I cut up to get really nice bonus fillets here. Okay, so first things first. These things for some reason seem to have a slippier slime coat than anything I've ever seen before. And this one's measured in at around 23 inches, so it's not really the biggest thing. I know they get huge in some of these other areas, but it's still a good eating fish. Now, the other thing you'll immediately notice is these scales are really solid. So what I like to do, get a really good sharp fillet knife, go in right, make sure I'm on top of the backbone, and do my cut up instead of down. So I'm actually going through the scales a little bit better. This guy still has some fight in him. Definitely. So then I'll come back off of this fin a little bit and do the same thing. I'm just trying to go up above the backbone like anything else. Do this the same way I do trout. Now these gloves definitely seem to let you get a better grip on them. Now, and scaling them's not really the, so you see, same as I do with trout, I don't do this with catfish, is leave this little bit here, however much you want, but enough to connect it and enough out the back, and we're right there along the backbone. So, reason for that is, when you flip these things, normally what will happen is if that meat's not there, that thing just sags and it makes it terrible hard. You'll find most of the time you'll wind up with one good fillet and you'll wind up with one not so good, and that's why. Is because it just sags. Right now this backbone's in a nice straight line across there, so it's a lot easier. And I'm going to do the same thing, going across the fin, and we're just going to ride that backbone out. Now I have two fillet knives sitting here. This one's my older one. Not that it isn't sharp, it's just these scales put a hurting on something. So that being the case, I'll bring that back to the front, separate that fillet off like so. That's a really nice, oh look at that, bunch of eggs in there. These are invasive in this area, I should add. It's not something we want, but it's almost too late because once they're here, they're not going anywhere. So might as well make life hands you lemons, turn them into lemonade kind of scenario. So that's all the more we need to do with that. Two nice fillets. 23 inches this was, so just under a 2-foot fish, and there's some good meat. So now come over here. I can ditch these gloves. It just helps you get a better grip on those. These big game gut gloves seem to work really good for me. Not getting them off might be another thing because I'm holding slippy on slippy, but I don't like filleting with hands like that. So I like to take my fillets this way. Normally what I do with a fillet like this or a catfish fillet is get it to the edge of the board, and then I take the knife and get down to the skin like that. And what that does, it makes a nice handle I can stick my fingers in, and then I take the knife and just glide it across. And this is my good knife. So you'll see you're into them bones up there in the front. So that takes that right off the skin. Not a lot of loss. Just a really cool design on that. And then from there, the way their rib cage comes together, according to everything I'm seeing, just totally scrap that whole section. Unfortunate, but I don't want bones, because I'm looking at this and thinking this is probably the sort of fish that I want to bread and deep fry. Trim the top up a little bit. Number one thing to filleting is always have a good knife. Now, I have some other fillets in here, and what I do is I stick them in ice water with overnight in the fridge with some salt in there to pull the blood out. Just like so. Same deal. And I'll go right up here where you can feel the top of the bones. Just cut that whole rib cage section out. This one here got a little bit further back in, so we'll just trim it up like so. Until you soak them fillets like that overnight, it'll pull all the blood out and it'll be a nice white. I do that with most of the catfish I get out of the river. So same deal, into the water. I should be able to, not a lot of salt, you just want a little bit of salt to pull the blood out. But that's my little video on filleting them things. It doesn't take long. They're not any harder than anything else, and I'm looking forward to trying them, because again, they're a new thing in the area. If I can help get rid of some invasives by eating them, all the better. But hopefully that shows a little better than some others.